It's Accountech Bytes, your petty cash pep talk for the platform powered practitioner with me, Tom Herbert. Thank you very much for watching. And if you find this useful, please remember to like, subscribe, or follow. Let's get straight into the news. And let's start with a survey from Avalara of more than 1,500 CFOs and finance directors that's found finance leaders are racing to deploy AI agents before the governance is ready. Quick definition of artificial intelligence terms, and in my view, AI agents are capable of performing a string of tasks instead of one specific focus and can, if allowed, operate independently within the guardrails that the user has set, which makes these survey results ever more concerning. So agents of change, how the race to deploy AI agents is outrunning financial governance, found that while 92% of respondents feel moderate or significant pressure to demonstrate return on investment from AI, just 7% said their organizations prioritize governance over deployment speed. 30% haven't updated internal controls within the last year, concerning in such a fast-moving area, while 44% are only somewhat confident they could explain an AI agent's action to an auditor or regulator. While I'm not particularly surprised by these results, I think everyone should be concerned by them. So whether you're in practice or industry, a vendor or in government, in the tax and compliance world, decisions need to withstand a regulatory scrutiny. Let's go down under now, where the Australian government's Tax Practitioners Board has laid down some guidelines on the use of artificial intelligence by tax agents. We've got a definition of AI here, and then some general considerations. Well, the guidelines say there's a significant opportunity to increase productivity with AI. Tax practitioners are still ultimately responsible for the services they provide. So similar to the documents we've seen from UK professional bodies and the IRS over in America. In other words, don't outsource your judgment and understand the capabilities and limitations of these tools. Interesting point further down around third-party disclosures. So it says a tax practitioner must not disclose any information relating to a client's affairs to a third party without the client's permission. It recommends getting specific client consent, not some vague line in your letter of engagement about third-party tools. Let's move on now to phase 1 of the multi-factor authentication rollout for agent accounts. The ATT's Helen Thornley and CIOT's Lindsay Scott report from the front line, where a couple of thousand agents who'd chosen to switch on multi-factor authentication for their agent accounts found themselves using it for the first time. And so far, reports have been positive. ICAW reports that a recent poll it conducted on the subject revealed that individual logins for staff members are the preferred option for managing access to agent accounts, but some firms will continue using shared credentials. HMRC recommends firms set up individual accounts for staff members as it's the most secure option. However, for some firms, having to allocate clients to staff members, both initially and responses to changes in the practice, clients or staff members, could present a significant admin challenge. In the poll, 60% of respondents to a recent webinar said they would use separate credentials, 17.5% preferring shared credentials, with a further 22.5% undecided. Confirmation online of what I reported on from the Tax Systems conference, that Tax Systems is now Alpha Tax. So many users of the global compliance engine will know it as Alpha Tax anyway, so the vendors decided to make life simpler and rebrand the whole shebang. Digital worker tool Bots for That has also announced a change in direction and a launch of its flagship product, Automation as a Service, which provides support for processes that off-the-shelf products can't help with. Let's head over to MTD Corner now, and the folks over at FreeAgent have released the ability to file MTD quarterly updates from your mobile, adding to the mobile app's ability to create and send itemized invoices, logging your expenses, and even taking payments from your phone. Staying with MTD and QuickBooks chap Aaron Patrick has recorded his attempt to file a Making Tax Digital quarterly return. Did it go well? Let's take a look. So as you can see, some HMRC downtime frustrated Aaron to start with, but the good news is at the end of the video, he manages to get it done. Robin Milstead from LKA and Accountants Therapy takes to the pages of Accounting Web to talk about where she sees the most revealing indicator of MTD success. Spoiler alert, it's not the Q1 figures. HMRC Voice of Reason Sam Wood reminds taxpayers and agents that nudges and prompts will remind taxpayers to make their first quarterly update on time, like so. Let's get on some people news now, and something I criminally missed while I was on holiday is the news that Emma Crawford has joined Sage as its VP of Accountants UK and Ireland. Emma has worked for Xero, Ignition, Iris, and most recently Mazuma, and joined the big green Geordie machine at a fascinating time for them. And rejoining Sage, returning to his spiritual home as VP Product Management, AI and Accounting, is Nick Williams. Nick spent 12 years at QuickBooks in the UK, driving their product successes, and went a bit quiet in January. Generally in this business, when people say they're just stepping back to have a bit of a rest, they don't really mean that. But congratulations to Nick. And Emma, of course. Daniel Van Boom over at Forbes reports that Xero's people officer, Jeff Ryan, has departed after just 15 months. The Texan told Forbes he'd left Xero to focus on advisory and board roles, with CFO Claire Bramley picking up the HR slack. Let's get on to some new stuff now, and Nick Moss from TaxCalc reports that as of this week, compliance data from TaxCalc's system will be available within its practice management app, Engager, to view and include as placeholders within emails or on documents, and then to send out in bulk to clients. So as Nick says, if you're spending your time manually inputting data into your practice management system to do this, or just not reminding your clients at all, then he has a solution. A couple of new bits and pieces from Receivables app AdFit. So first up, the ability to take phone payments for multiple invoices. So you can take a single card payment over the phone for multiple outstanding invoices and payment requests. Customers can now pay multiple outstanding invoices and payment requests directly from a customer statement. So when they receive that statement, they can choose which items they'd like to pay and make one payment for the selected total. And they've added the ability to cancel a direct debit mandate while payments are being collected. A couple of new things from accounting automation system Dext. So in its AI Assist feature, you can now automate repetitive multi-row bookkeeping tasks on receipts and invoices. So you can do things like write custom guidance for the AI assistant, so it knows what to do with receipts and invoices with multiple line items. It can update, split or merge line items and adjust details such as descriptions or tax rates. And in the Dex Payments module, they've launched a fully integrated payment solution for QuickBooks Online users in the UK and Canada. So users can pay their suppliers and employees from one connected workflow in Dext. That'll be available later this month, July 2026. Practice management tool Sodium now offers the ability to write your letters and emails once. So take your engagement letter, write it once, and Sodium automatically fills in each client's name, fees, dates, and any information you have in a custom field. Mail merge for 2026. Document management practice management tool FYI has announced the release of Event Trigger for automations. So available in the Pro and Elite plans. Event Trigger allows practices to run automations immediately when a defined event occurs in FYI, including when a new client or job is created or when selected client or job information is updated. And let's meet some of the apps that have made it onto the Xero App Store in July. So we have RemitClear, which automates the processing of payment remittance advice for accounting and finance teams. Regular viewers and readers of Accounting Web will be familiar with Auto Capture, which is a receipt capture tool built for accounting and bookkeeping practices. by an accounting practice. So it extracts data, learns from historical patterns, and creates bills directly in Xero. Clear Course Health provides clinical management systems for medical practices. And great to see our friends at Paperless branching out with Xero. They were very much Sage adjacent. So they've been in the accounts payable automation game for as long as I've been at Accounting Web. Now, I mentioned Garfield a few weeks back in relation to a court case, but they're now on the Xero App Store, helping firms recover unpaid invoices through the small claims court. No news on whether they take payment in lasagna. And finally, free agent users can now connect directly to multi-entity reporting tool Join, giving users an easier way to consolidate financial data across multiple companies. And that's your lot for today. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd be kind enough to like, subscribe, or follow, that would be incredible. I'll be back next week with another video. Bye for now.